is the record of Charles Sonny Liston during the time he was a resident of St. Louis, Missouri. At the age of 18, Liston was found guilty of armed robbery and was sentenced to 3 concurrent 5-year terms in the Century, Jefferson City, Missouri. Upon parole, Charles Sonny Liston became a professional boxer. Liston was again convicted in 1956 for the crime of assault with intent to do great bodily harm to a police officer. He was sentenced to 9 months in the St. Louis County Workhouse. Liston was picked up for questioning over 100 times and arrested 16 times on charges ranging from breach of the peace to suspicion of theft. For his 2 convictions, Liston served a total of 38 months. Charles Sonny Liston is now a resident of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Charles Sonny Liston was born May the 8th, 1933, on a little farm near Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He was one of 25 children born to a poor sharecropper. Most of his childhood and his adult life was surrounded by poverty and discrimination. His education was like any boy that lived on a rundown farm and on the streets of a slum neighborhood. I know Charles Sonny Liston. He's a good man and he's a kind man and worthy of a chance to contribute to society. I am Mrs. Sonny Liston.
Hello, I'm Frank Leahy.
Charles Sonny Liston became heavyweight champion of the world on the night of September 25th, 1962, in a fight that lasted only 2 minutes and 6 seconds. His ring record ranks with the best. In 34 previous fights, he won 33, 23 by knockouts. The new champion has never been knocked off his feet. Sonny Liston's record has been and still is the subject of considerable publicity, mostly bad.
Some refer to Liston as a horrible beast. They claim he's affiliated with gangsters and even worse. Others claim definitely that Sonny Liston is not entitled to this championship bout. They say that he is not and will not become rehabilitated. However, there is the other side. Father Edward Murphy, pastor of Loyola Parish, Denver, Colorado, perhaps best knows the other side of Sonny Liston. It was this Jesuit priest to whom Liston made a public appeal for assistance and understanding.
Another man who knows the other side of Sonny Liston is Father William Wade, professor of philosophy, St. Louis University. These men spent months counseling Liston. Before the fight, these questions: what about the report of Liston's unsavory character? Is he capable of rehabilitation? Has there really been a change in this man?
When I meet people who have heard that I have been working with Sonny Liston, often they ask me, is he really a beast? I think this impression is due to the fact that people have read articles in national magazines and sports magazines about Sonny Liston in which he has been portrayed as a man who is inherently evil. Now, this is not true. Sonny is a man whom I would say has good intellectual ability, and I think that he has the basic foundation for a good moral character.
Rehabilitation, it comes from the Latin word rehabilis. It means, basically, it means the changing of a man's character. Now, for instance, if we take an inveterate gambler, there are some who just simply cannot stop gambling. Now, those people need a change of character. In this particular instance, I do not feel that Mr. Liston has needed any rehabilitation. He is typical of so many people at a certain time in their lives. They are confused because of varying circumstances and what is happening to them. I cannot accept this word rehabilitation as far as Sonny Liston is concerned. I would rather say that and think and be convinced of the fact that this is reorientation. Many of us need a considerable amount of reorientation.
I don't think there's been any change in the man's thinking. People often ask me, has he changed his character? I would say no. I think what has happened is this. The Sonny Liston, once he found in Father Murphy and others whom Father Murphy has introduced him to, has changed in this regard. Before, he was a confused man without confidence. Now he is a man with confidence because he knows that he has people around him on whom he can rely. I am convinced that Sonny Liston will not do anything in the future that will cause Father Murphy and myself to blush because of the judgment that we have made about him.
State of New York, Division of State Athletic Commission, April 27, 1962. In refusing Liston's application to box in New York, the report notes early close association with Frank Palermo, John Vitale, and Frank Mitchell, all of whom have extensive arrest records. The report continues, we cannot ignore the possibility that these long-time associations continue to this day. The wrong people do not disengage easily. Unanimous disapproval.
One day, we asked Father Murphy about the allegation that Sonny Liston has been connected with gangsters, that Liston knowingly fought under the control of some of the more notorious racketeers.
It has been charged on many occasions that Mr. Liston has been connected with gangsters. I have discussed boxing at length with him. He's not the kind of a person who would keep any secrets from me, I'm sure of that. I'm convinced that he has never had anything to do with gangsters at all.
This is the home of Mr. and Mrs. Rosamond, where the Listons spent the summer of 1961. Mrs. Rosamond is housekeeper at Loyola Parish, and her husband is the assistant superintendent of the church and school buildings. The young lady who seems to have Father Murphy's attention is Ira Rosamond, 4 years old, and as you will see, quite a Liston fan.
I want to ask you some questions. Just like that, how's that, huh? Now, who's this man over here? Who is that?
That's my Uncle Charles.
That's your Uncle Charles.
And this is you.
All right. Now, where is Uncle Charles from? Where does he live?
Yeah, Philadelphia.
He lives in Philadelphia. That's a long ways from here, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Little Ira apparently hasn't heard of the less favorable reports about her Uncle Charles, or if she has, they don't seem to affect her opinion. The Rosamonds also have opinions.
Ms. Rosamond, what were your reactions when you first heard the news that Mr. and Mrs. Liston were going to spend the summer with us here in Denver?
Well, I was quite excited, very excited, when I found out that Mr. and Mrs. Liston was coming to spend the summer with us. We got along wonderful in the house. Jerry was a marvelous person. Everything, lots of fun, the four of us.
Mm-hmm, and everyone. Sonny being a very large fellow and a big man there, and you're rather small like me, what were your reactions?
Oh, actually, Father, I was surprised more than anything else. Well, I had a chance to be around him and with him quite regular, and we worked around here together, and he helped me quite a bit. And I was surprised at his gentleness. You would get a wrong impression of a man that big and being so gentle, I mean. He's a very gentle man. He talks gentle, and in his actions, he's very gentle.
Newspapers across the country have had this to say about Sonny Liston. Notorious jailbird. This is a savage. He has no business in boxing. Shouldn't be fought, should be hunted. Unregenerate bad actor looking for trouble. Owned by hoodlums. Liston unworthy of title shot. Long smoldering hatred of fellow man.
Father Murphy and I then went from Denver to the training camp in Illinois, where Sonny prepared for his long-awaited meeting with Floyd Patterson.
Do you think in general boxers are improving too?
Well, I would say slowly but surely.
Are they receiving fine coaching? I know you are. Are others?
Well, some fighters, you can tell them, but they won't listen. But I'm a good listener. I know it's for my own good.
Sonny, I've worked with athletes for many, many years, and I can say with a high degree of accuracy that I've never really seen anyone train more diligently than you've been doing around here during the last few days.
Well, in the morning I get up at 5 o'clock and I run about 5 miles. Eventually I work up to 5. And after that I come back and I go to bed. I sleep until about 10 o'clock. Then after that I get up and eat breakfast, take a walk for about 1.5 miles. Then I sit around for a few minutes. Then I go back to bed. Then I get up and come over and have me a cup of tea. And I start training, skipping ropes, hitting the heavy bag, light bag, boxing, doing calisthenics to get my body in shape. So then I go and have dinner.
Sonny, you're so casual about it all. You make it sound and look so easy.
Let's take a look at some of the daily routine you go through in preparation for the big event.
As you said, out of bed at 5 in the morning, on the track by 5:30 to run from 3 to 5 miles. A nice steady pace, leading up to a burst of speed for the last mile. Then after going back to bed for a couple of hours, a light breakfast, a long walk. Comes the time of day when the real work takes place. The light bag for speed and timing. Oh, we should all be able to keep our arms and hands moving at that pace for such a long time. I certainly wish I could. Good weather or bad, outdoors or indoors, it goes on every day. A few rounds of heavy artillery on the big bag. It has been said that this exercise was designed to develop knockout punches. See what I mean? Rope skipping, an art usually practiced by little girls in pigtails. Also quite an art is practiced by big men in boxing trunks. Try it at this pace for about 6 minutes. You'll soon find out what ails you. Highly recommended for footwork, leg muscles, wrist and arm action, and rhythm, rhythm, rhythm. Kid stuff? Go ahead and try it. That medicine ball weighs about 14 pounds. Chief trainer, Willie Reddish, is strictly a speedball pitcher. This treatment rather quickly separates the men from the boys. Then, of course, there is the all-important sparring. The brave young man on the receiving end of Sonny Liston's fists is Slim Jim Robinson. At no surprise to anyone, Liston has found it very difficult to keep the same sparring partners for any length of time. For obvious reasons, they soon seek employment elsewhere. Sonny is in a cruising speed, not exactly going all out. He isn't punching as hard as he can. Naturally, Robinson favors this plan. Sonny's spar mates are instructed to box exactly as he expects Patterson to perform. Jab and retreat, hit and go back. Liston, constantly moving forward, hoping to get his opponent captured, perhaps in a corner, thus eliminating the possibility of escape. Under these conditions, Sonny is ready for the kill, with a special combination of left hook followed by a right cross. Sonny moving forward constantly at all times, starting with the left jab, right in a position for the kill punch. Willie Reddish doing a fine coaching job from the sidelines. Sonny continues to move forward exactly as he plans to do on the evening of September 25th in Chicago against champion Floyd Patterson. Reddish now pleading for Sonny Liston to use his most convincing weapon, a left hook. Pleading again for that famous weapon. Evidently, Liston heard his coach. Big, strong, agile. Always moving forward, always the aggressor. That's Sonny Liston's style. Taking full advantage of his God-given qualities, strength, fast hands, lots of physical endurance. Liston is very hard to hurt. He's strong physically, a strong face, wide, strong shoulders, a very long reach. Volunteer sparring partners are cordially invited. Don't crowd. Everybody will get his chance eventually.
You believe that the man in the best condition certainly has the greater chance to win, I'm sure.
Yes, I do.
Well, I admire you for paying this price, Sonny. You really train hard, and do you enjoy training hard?
Yes, I do. When I know I got to fight, huh?
Sonny, how old were you when you had your first boxing match?
Well, when I first started, I was 13. I went to the gym and I got a shellacking, so I said, that's not for me. And then again, I waited until I got 18, and I was big, and I weighed 218. So I figured, I said, well, I'm a man now, I can take it on my own.
Did you ever get a chance to fight the fellow who gave you the shellacking?
No, I never did see him no more. Matter of fact, I wasn't looking for him either.
Well, that's certainly a case of good judgment.
When you were fighting as a pro, was there any particular fight when you first realized that you came in, you're ready to go, you could beat anybody?
Cleveland Williams, when I fought Cleveland Williams after I went to the dressing room, and all the newspaper writers came in and said, now that we believe you can take it after that fight. And
He must have been real tough.
he could punch real hard, and he was fast. And after that fight, I felt that I could beat anybody.
You have bigger muscles than you.
Yes, he did. He was all muscle. He even had muscles in his eyes.
Sonny, someone said during your press conference yesterday that the bigger they are, the harder they fall. I thought your answer was wonderful.
Yeah,
How do they go?
bigger they are, the harder it is to cut down, too.
You have to chop that big tree a lot harder and a lot longer.
Yes, sir.
What's wrong, Sonny, with the kids in our country today? They don't seem to have much enthusiasm for exercise. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, I think their parents buying them cars too quick.
Yeah.
It used to be that when they get 18, they want a bicycle. Now they get 18, they want a car.
Sonny, what advice would you give to a young lad who came to you and said, I want to become a boxer? What would you tell him as regards training and so forth?
Well, they always told me anything you want to do your best and be the best at it.
In the training part, he has to pay a price, doesn't he?
Yes, they do. That's really trains for anything you go after, you have to train at it.
You get out of it what you put into it pretty much.
Yes, you do.
Now, if you should win the championship, do you have any plans on what you're going to do after that?
I would like to work with the kids in the youth center and everything.
They need help, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Sonny, tell me, what was the happiest moment of your entire career?
The happiest moment. Well, when I married my wife was the happiest moment of my career.
Do you ever have any real sad moments?
Well, when they turned me down for license in New York to fight for the championship, something I've always wanted to do. It was kind of sad that they did it, but Chicago made me very proud of it.
And I'm sure you're happy over Patterson's attitude, his willingness to fight you. He said some nice things about you, Sonny.
Yes, he did. I really was surprised that he stood up for me like he did.
We're very happy to be able to visit with Mr. Joe Trainer, chairman of the Illinois State Athletic Commission. Joe, I wonder if you'd be kind enough to tell us why, in your opinion, New York did not allow the fight, and you saw fit to bring it into Illinois.
Frank, I don't know their reason. They didn't so state it. I believe, though, that they are not in favor of rehabilitation, whereas we are. I recall an incident we had with Rocky Graziano when he came up for a license. He showed me his fists, and he says, Commissioner, this is the only way I know how to make a living.
I'm sure he's never let you down since.
No, he hasn't. He's been a credit to himself and to the game.
Well, that's a very commendable attitude. Now, let's have a close look at the results of all the planning and training of a challenger. Let's study the anatomy of a knockout. 10:30 in the morning, Tuesday, September 25th, the morning of the fight. Something has Floyd Patterson's undivided attention, a scale that reads 214 pounds. And the man standing on the scale is challenger Sonny Liston. And then the champion steps up on the scale in the solemn ceremony of weighing in two men who will be testing brawn and skill against each other in just a few hours from now. Patterson, 189 pounds. These hands will soon be wrapped in bandages, encased in gloves, and will be used for pounding as fast and hard as they can be manipulated. The traditional weighing-in picture, a warm and friendly handshake between the opponents. After the instructions in Chicago's Comiskey Park, the bell sounded and the two fighters met in the center of the ring, the champion cautiously crouching and weaving. As was expected, the challenger was the aggressor from the very beginning. Floyd lands a few ineffective shots. Sonny missed with his left. Challenger Liston continues to move in and softening up the champion with bruising rights to the body and punishing left hooks to the head. It would seem that the only thing that can match this right is this left, a picture of double power. Power and determination. Pursuing relentlessly, the challenger connects with a staggering right to the head. Through the use of a high-speed telephoto camera, we can stop the action and see that the champion is really wounded. The steady pounding continues. Liston pounding, Patterson receiving. Another sledgehammer right to the body continues to wear down the weakening champion. The follow-through with a right cross puts Liston in a position to come back with his most formidable weapon, his left hook. The old Patterson peekaboo defense is about to crumble. With much more speed than most of the experts anticipated, Sonny starts to spring that lethal left. Sonny once remarked, "They say I'm big and slow. All I've got to say," he said, "is everybody I fought must have been a little slower." All of that road work paid off in building up those strong legs. That's where the power starts. It travels up. The bomb is on target now. The shattering explosion. The champion doesn't know what has happened to him. It was so fast, the experts at ringside didn't realize what was happening either. The champion is going down. He has a reputation for bouncing up to fight back. The referee signals Liston to a neutral corner. Floyd Patterson is not going to bounce back in this fight. The count starts. 1, 2, 3. The fading seconds of a heavyweight champion. Let's look at the ending again from another camera angle. The count continues. 7, 8, 9, 10. Out! It's all over in 2 minutes and 6 seconds of the first round. The only two-time heavyweight champion of the world struggled to get up, but he was too late. A wobbly, stunned ex-champion, Floyd Patterson, is helped up by the referee. Liston rushes Patterson again, this time to console the man he has pounded into unconsciousness in just 126 seconds. Then the victory celebration. Chief trainer Willie Reddish is first in the ring to congratulate his boy, Sonny. Victory, the smiles of sweet success. The new heavyweight champion of the world, Charles Sonny Liston. As we pointed out earlier, Sonny Liston has a number of detractors. They have been accurately quoted in the course of this program. Many of these same people were invited to use these cameras and microphones to further express their opinion of the man. But for one reason or another, they saw fit to decline the offer. The producers of The Other Side of Sonny Liston humbly borrow the words of Euripides, the great writer and social critic of ancient Greece. Euripides wrote in 400 BC, "In case of dissension, never dare to judge till you've heard the other side."